crazy today. This weather is shockingly bad. So I hope we're all doing really, really well today, which is Wednesday the 17th of September. It is amazing how it is going really, really, really quick this month. So get into the chat. Let me know how we are doing today. Yeah, we're going to go for some stuff today. We're going to go through Mainoo, all different reports coming out that Mainoo off to Newcastle, possibly in the next window. Again, that's being covered by so many different sources. Now we can have our opinion on that. I just wanted to overall get an opinion really on, is Amorim wasting the youth? Now, you guys know that I'm in support of this manager, but there are red flags. No, there are some red flags. Scott, welcome to the chat. Now, in regards to Scott, just to let you know, Scotty, I've got FIFA. Well, not FIFA, but I've got FC 26. That is all ready to go. So I'll see when I can get access to that. I know it's coming out on Friday, but I've already got not access to it, but it's already ready to go on the Xbox behind me. So I'm gonna set up some stream now. I wanted to do it today. I thought as a pre-order and you get early access, I thought I might have early access today. I was going to do a stream just going through FC 26. So I've got the version whereby you've got a load of football club like packs and that kind of stuff. So we can go through that at some point. We can create Scott's idea. We can start to create some things around that. So let's get to it. I was just watching someone called Gav, and he's absolutely effing deluded. I don't know who Gav is, but you know, Aliosh Ban, hello brother, how are you? I'm doing really, really well today. Now, apologies for no stream last night. I was absolutely shattered last night. I work full time. I've got kids as well, as many of you have children as well. So I decided for my mental health, my mental well-being, to go to the gym last night. It was really, really good. I love every second of it. So today, hopefully we can do a watch along for one of the Champions League games today. I'm not sure which one. Called so Gav goes in. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, everybody. I mean, is it a football channel? Is it a? I'd love to know what channel it is. I would say go and check it out. I'm always one for bigging up the community. Well, I've seen plenty United one. Well, you know, they can't all be as very lucky as me on this community. The one thing I would say, what makes this channel good, is not necessarily me. It is the community and the topics that we talk about. You guys get your opinion in. Sorry, my friend, we're not getting into all that stuff today. So one of the things that we talk about on here is Amorim. So Amorim is the talk of conversation. We know that it's Amorim. Now, one of the things that I have seen yesterday. Sorry, guys, I got stuff in my teeth. I just had some food. Spirit of the Wheel, God bless. Welcome, my friend. So, Amorim in, Amorim out, Amorim shake it all about. Now, I think, as much as I'm Amorim in, and we spoke about it yesterday, I've given you the reasons why. I probably will go over the reasons why again, why I'm Amorim out at some point, no doubt, on the stream, depending on who comes on the stream. But saying that, though, you've got to be honest, logical, and we'll go through, I think, why some of the red flags are there. For me saying I'm chatting because I said it's the players who are to blame because they can't play a simple system. Scott, one of the things, Scott, I think that we do well on here is I think we have a balanced approach. We're going to end up 16th on the table. Mr. A Footballer, I don't disagree. I think it's... I'm one of the things, guys, that I've said that we do really, really, really well in here. is that, well, we see both sides. So again, I'm not the owner of the chat necessarily. I come on with the topic and I'll read your opinions because I respect your opinions. Now, some of the opinions I don't respect because they're not to do with the channel necessarily. They're not to do with the topic that we're talking about. But I respect your opinions. I'll read your opinions out, and then I will come back on those opinions. Not because I'm calling you out, just because I'll get my opinions in and we can talk about it. So get your opinions in there. I'll try to read as many as I can, and let's go through it. So footballer says fire Amorim. Now I will come back on that. Not because I'm calling you out, but I just think it's really important to give you the time, give you your opinion, and then I'll come back. And now, my overarching opinion on this is that we have a manager who we hired, right, to play a different brand of football, right? When has sacking a manager mid-season ever gone well, right? Now, we brought this guy in to do a specialist job. If Ineos weren't going to support this manager for the long term, then why bring him in? We play a 4-4, a 4-3-3. Ollie played a 4-3-3. Jose played a 4-3-3. Ranić played Ranić played survival football. You know, it's amazing the amount of people. Fidel, hello, from what country? UK. So the common spin of fine Jose was a big mistake. You know, at the time, I probably thought it was the right thing. Jose, you know what he's like. He goes into a meltdown. But when you analyse it out, with the annals of time, you know, you learn certain things, and the fact that he wasn't giving his players, was it the right thing? It's a very easy argument to have now, but I think that was a combination of Jose, definitely the players got him sacked. Now, what I just want to say in regards to this, now, what is the common theme? It's the players down in tools again. Now, if you looked at the post yesterday from Indicator, now again that could be a load of nonsense. I think some of it is true. I hope it's not. I hope that Amorim will be given time. He finished 15th last season. It wasn't his team, and this is what I find myself banging my head against a brick wall. Not because the opinions frustrate me, but as much as other people want this manager out, and you can say that you don't understand Amorim inners, I don't understand Amorim outers, but I do respect the opinion. This guy hasn't been given his team. Now, you can argue that players are different. There are some players, as we've said on here, that have sacked numerous managers, but you can also now say that there are new players in, but some of these new players are on their second or third manager, but also it's an infection until you get rid of all of these players. Until you get rid of some of these players that are still here, who are still infecting the new players, we're never going to move as a club. So that is where I'm at. So Amorim, for me, this for me after 4 games, calling for his head, when for me this is his first season. I think last season should be ignored completely. It wasn't his team, wasn't his formation. Asking this club, asking these players to play different formation, even though I still don't think it is the formation and the tactics. These players moan and whinge, oh, it's too hard. They can't play anything other than a 4-4-2. It's so hard for them. They get paid hundreds of thousands of pounds per week, and it's just too hard. They can't do it. I don't buy it. But I will caveat that with, and I'll go through some of the chats, is that Amorim is not helping himself, and we'll go through that as well. Mr. eFootballer said interim manager was Ruben Amorim. He wasn't good. Jose, managerial cycle is always the same. Does well for a season or two and falls off a cliff. Georgie, the animated red. I agree with you. I see Mark Harris in that guy's chat as well. Mark Harris. I like Mark Harris. He has negative opinions, but I completely get those opinions. He should have stayed at Lisbon. Spin of the wheel. And this is going to be the common theme now, right? Is that Amorim should be out and whatever else. Now I'm going to talk about some of the red flags as well, because I think it's really important that we be balanced on that. I'm Amorim in, but I also don't call people who are Amorim out. I'm also not going to say that you're wrong for having that opinion. There are stats out there. 31 points in 31 games. You can use those stats. So stats out there, you can manipulate stats. I've worked with stats pretty much my whole career. I've worked with stats for quite a long time. You can manipulate stats for whatever reason and whatever rhetoric that you're trying to push out. I get that. Now I'm talking about there are red flags for me. So whether you're Amorim in or out, we're all entitled to our opinions, and the only thing I ask on here is that we just respect each other's opinion, because we all watch football in a different way. Let me read some of the chats. Georgie, the animated red, do not forget you played well against Arsenal. Should have finished the game off against Fulham and some good chances, and of course missed a penalty and should have finished off Burnley by half time. Exactly. Lost for Arsenal with a goalie mistake. Pure Amazer says, imagine having players like Dilit, Bruno, Mainoo, Cunha, Casemiro, Yoru, and still failing this badly. Amorim, who has to leave. The players need a manager who can change their mentality and get the best out of all the players on and off the pitch. End of story. Now, one of the things, Pure, that I'll say to you is you can't end. Well, you can, but just saying end of story, in my opinion, is you going, well, that's your opinion. Anyone else can't have an opinion. That's your opinion, and I respect that opinion. But for me, just ending that opinion there and saying it's the end of story, right? Ankit, I'm from the UK, which I get the opinion, and again, you can talk about that. But these players talking about Bruno, Mainoo, Casemiro, right? Yoro is a very, very young player, influenced by these teams. Bruno, Mainoo, and Casemiro. These are the senior players. Now Cunha, I don't class Cunha because he's new. But Bruno Fernandes, if you look at Bruno Fernandes and you're talking about mentality, Bruno hasn't played well for 2 years. Bruno hasn't played well before this manager. This season, Bruno's been petulant. You look at Fernandes, when the referees happen to step on his foot or barge past him, and the petulance, and he was still moaning and whinging at like half time. He throws his hands up in the air. He goes missing. If that's your captain, what can Amorim do about that? Who's going to change the mentality of these players? You can't trust these players. Time and time again, they've let this manager down. They've let managers down before. It's nothing to do with the managers. It's not formation. It is not tactics. Grimsby is the perfect example. I will be annoyed at the Grimsby game. If you're a professional player, right, and you're playing against a fourth division side, why does the manager need to change your mentality for that? Personal pride should come into play. You shouldn't need a manager to come onto that pitch to tell you how to play football. You are professional guys at the top of your game. You are elite, and these players cannot do that. So for me, that is exactly why system and formation doesn't work. I disagree. It is these players, they're low mentality, low IQ, they cannot get up for games. I get these players, again, they get away with it scot-free. They let down this team time and time again. And when you've got the owners like we have who will let them get away with it time and time again, the next manager, I guarantee you that if Amorim gets sacked and we bring in whoever it is, they won't get their team. They'll still have to work with these players. These players finished 15th last season. Where is their professional pride? I don't understand. These players keep sacking managers, and you can keep saying that they're different players. Some of them are, but it's infectious. This goes beyond players. This goes beyond Amorim. This goes beyond. This is to do with the club. This is to do with Amorim should be able. We make enough money, but the debt hanging over this club means that our hands are tied. Amorim hasn't got his players. I don't care what anybody's. Well, I do care. But in my opinion, Amorim hasn't been backed. He hasn't had his team. He needs centre midfielders. He needs a wing back, and he wasn't provided. I'm pretty sure that he was promised all of these things, and he didn't get them. And he still got the same team that finished 15th last season. He needs to try a system 4-3-3. Deny Bruno a sweet and he starts crying. I agree. Football Tube, afternoon, mate. Hope you're doing really, really well. Gavi's 1.6 more subs. Bruno has been at, for years. Has been so much success. Look at the players around him. I personally can't blame him. Can you tell me, pure, right? What success have we had? Success to me, okay. I know our standards have dropped, but Bruno wasn't here when we won the Europa League. Bruno has presided over a League Cup and an FA Cup. Unless I'm wrong, Bruno came in under Ollie. What success has he had? I'm just interested to know if your version of success, pure, is an FA Cup, a League Cup. I demand every season a championship win. I demand Champions League. I'm not going to get that. I know that. I'm not foolish enough. But if your idea of success with Fernandes is a final of the Europa League where he disappeared, an FA Cup and a League Cup, I really, really feel sorry for you. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but if that's your version of success, I don't get it, my friend. I really don't. I mean, rather my hands and clap than have Amorim in charge. Bruno as captain. All Portuguese should be banned from my club. Welcome, Emmy. Legend as always. Bruno is a diva. Probably it took Sir Jurgen Klopp years to turn a little point. Thank you. But Paul Brady, thank you. Thank you. That is a brilliant comment. Jurgen Klopp got backed. And thank you. I completely agree with you. Jurgen did some stuff with the players, but it took him years. It took him years to build a championship side. Why isn't Amorim afforded that time as well? But the thing is, JB, Amorim is even making the new players rubbish, and they were the best in the league last season. Now, I'll give you my opinion on that. Again, I love you, my friend, and respect the opinion. I'll give you my opinion on that one, right? So now Emmy's been Emmy's gone for some reason. GLW, absolute master. Football. If these players keep sacking managers, you're going to say the same for the previous managers. They've been sacked. They've been sacked by their new teams. If these players keep sacking managers, we're going to say the same for previous managers that have been sacked by their new teams. No, and I'll tell you for why. And I think Football Tube. I think that's a really good point to make. The difference is, right? Ollie went to Besiktas, right? Jose went to Spurs, Roma, Fenerbahce, right? At those teams, there's a level. They are not United. And what I mean by that is, I'm not so blind to say that we're the best club in the world. But what I mean is there's a different level of expectations, right? They go to that club and they know their means, they know the players, and the expectations are lower than at this club. The reason why they got sacked by their clubs is haven't got an excuse. Because they get given the resources that they need for that club, for that level of success, and that's why they get sacked. They get sacked on their own terms. Okay, you could argue that, but I don't see other clubs where their players down tools. And again, you may watch football in a different way to me, and that's not a rhetoric suited by me. Ollie got sacked at Fenerbahce because he was awful. Erik ten Hag got sacked by Leverkusen because of his attitude towards players. I still think that they were too quick. but he got sacked because I don't know, but the players didn't let him down. It's not an excuse for me, but I completely understand. But for me, the other managers that leave this club, I've never seen other players from other clubs not back their manager to the means that the club have, and those managers are not sacked based. Jose had a meltdown at Roma, had a meltdown at Spurs. That's what he does. Ollie, his tactics are not good enough at Cardiff when he went to Cardiff. Besiktas, Mould, we got him from Mould, but that's the Norwegian league, right? So, in my opinion, I think it's a very, very valid point to say. But Ollie deserved to be sacked. Besiktas, Fenerbahce, and Leverkusen players are all responsible for managers getting sacked. Football Tube, no, I disagree. You can argue, that, but my point here, and Football Tube, I'm not going to just blame the players here. I blame the players for a lot, because the players, how many times have they sacked the manager? How many times? But Amorim doesn't get away with this one scot-free, and I will go through it. Kumba says, keep blaming players when you have no such negligence and inexperience. You have so much negligence and inexperience in the hierarchy. Disagree. The main theme of this club is players who down tools, and it is fact. Players down tools consistently. They're down tools for Ollie, Jose, Erik ten Hag. They down tools. You can see it. It's a well-known industry fact. But I do agree that it's not just the players. It can't be just the players. It is as you say, it is the negligence of the ownership of this club. It is the inexperience of Ineos as well. It's the inexperience of Ineos. The Glazers are just scum. And when you factor all that into the club, and it's been toxic for years, that does feed down to the players. But ultimately, these players, again, are low mentality players. And I can point to the games they go missing, their heads drop. But they've always done it. Now, the new players, if you look at the new players, their heads don't drop. But what can 2 or 3 players do in a team of another 6 or 7 that's been infected by the previous players? And that sticks with you. Absolutely does. Derek says, hi. Scott, that was an accident, wrong person. JB, tell him I'm sorry. I will. JB, untie me, please. JB, untie me, please. I misclicked. Let me go. Shocking, Scott. Shocking, mate. Shocking, mate. Absolutely shocking, brother. Erik ten Hag had to cancel the tour of Brazil. Players hated him. They wanted away from him. Ollie and Jose were such big on dough. They was awful, hence they got sacked. Well, again, I don't, opinions wise, but from what I could see, when you're lumping Van Gaal's players, when you're lumping Moyes, lumping Van Gaal players in, then lumping Jose players in, lumping Ollie, it was a mishmash, absolute mishmash. So what I don't get, and again, Ollie didn't sign the players. They give Ollie players. They maybe they did leave Ollie to sign some players. Ollie wanted completely different players, by the way. It's well known. He's come out and said that he didn't get the players that he wanted. He got players that he was told that he was going to have. Jose was the same. And you can't blame those 2 managers for the over-signing. That is on the club. That is on Murta Arnold. These managers don't pay the price, and it's the incompetence. It's the previous incompetence, and it's come home to roost. Mark Harris says, I would get in Emery and steady the ship. Quality manager wins things. Amorim, Tuesday and qualified. Ineos need to be sacking Berrada. I agree with the last bit. Mark, again, respect the opinion, my friend. JB, unban me, please. I don't. Are you banned? I can't, Scott. I can't see that you're banned, mate. I can't see it. I can't see it, mate. There's not much I can do, Scott. I can't really see it. I'll have to do it later on. I can't see it, my friend. Daniel says Amorim must stay. Georgie, the animated red. Jurgen Klopp had a 48% win rate in his first 38 games, better than Amorim, sure, but not exactly amazing. We have to be honest. He's one of the best. It was an accident. The players that have sacked managers in isolation aren't good footballers. Period. The ones who have got ability have done dirty by the board by choice of managers. Yeah. Alvarez is it who's gone to? I call him Alvarez, but he's got a different name, hasn't he? The kid that's gone to Real Madrid. Alanga, you can argue that. McTominay, some of these players, Hoyland, you can argue that these players, Hoyland for me is one of those players. I knew the moment that he left he was going to do well, and which leads on to Scott, I can't unban him, mate. I can't unban him on here. I'll unban him later. But I am going to blame you. But that's a good segue into what I wanted to talk about, and I think you make some good points there. Amorim out, the players have down tools. He said it after Grimsby, we're just wasting time with him. I want Ollie back, not for me. Where are you from? I'm from England. Emery would definitely work. David Brent, I said it from the start. We should have stuck with Ollie. The baby face was getting scared. I disagree. Ollie had no tactics. Now, we're all talking about tactics and formation. What's really, really funny is that we blame the formation and the tactics, right? Ollie didn't have any. They damn tools. Ollie was counter-attack FC, and if you are trying to progress as a club, particularly in the Pep era, particularly in the Klopp era, you need something different. And Ollie wasn't that. Chief Herb, he's talking about ME. I know I can't unblock him. I mean ban ME, who I just timed out. I can't ban him. I can't. I need to go on the main page and do it, but I will. Not Wagman bro. Are we in the capital? Big up JB. Big up Stephen B. Big up to Danny B. Stephen. Man United only have league games until FA Cup third round. No Carabao Cup. Only playing against with 25% win ratio. Fans can expect 1 win per month. Facts, my friend. Facts. Are your Brits up early again? I'll see. No. Finally, you got the shoes sorted out behind you. I wouldn't necessarily say that. So let's get on to the main topic of conversation. I think I want to talk about. I see we did the exactly 3-legged shoes. It's raining. Don't even know why I'm here. Mainoo. So let's. I want to really talk about this. Because some of you saying that Amorim out. Now I want you guys to get involved in this one. Right. I want you to get involved in this one because this is to do with Amorim out. Right. So this is to do with red flags. Now I am balanced. I'm balanced. Really, I have my views, and you guys have your Amorim out. So Amorim outers, I want you to tell me about the Mainoo and the youth players. You look like my sales manager at work had to take a second look. Life is good. Obviously, a really good-looking man. I'm joking. Nevers in January is lined up to be the saviour, JB. Let's see. Or that girl I used to work with. Happiness over money. Ruben Neves. I work with all men. No chance. Well, Benja, it depends, my friend. It depends on what you're into, Benja. Everyone is welcome here, regardless of their can't even say the word. Regardless of their proclivities. It really depends. Ever since the City loss, it hits different. JB never felt so much horrible since we lost to Barcelona. You never know, Benji. You support Arsenal. For me, Chief, Grimsby hurt more. Grimsby for me hurt more. Me, hi, Me, right? Me, right? It wasn't me, right? Me, it wasn't me. Okay. It wasn't me. Hold on, pause. Hold on, pause. Hold on, pause. Hold on, pause the show. Benja, mate, I promise you, I'm not calling you anything at all, my friend. Is nothing to do with that on here. All I'm saying, Benja, I promise you, mate, I am not calling you anything. Not calling you anything, my friend. You look like you work for HR. I don't work for HR. I'm an IT consultant. So, Jamie Vargas, I love your show. Thank you, brother. Man United suck. They do. So let's get on to Mainoo, right? So for those of you who are, do we not like, no, Jim, that's not what we're saying. That is not what we're saying on here at all. This is not what the chat is saying. What we're saying on here, I'm saying that everybody is welcome, irrespective of pretty much anything they are, as long as you are respectful to the community and the chat. Everybody is welcome to this channel. If Bruno plays in the midfield one more time, who must be sacked and deported from Manchester. Misclick me, such as Egg Boy. Liverpool is such a class run club. I agree with you. I agree with you. Agree with you completely. Agree with you completely. Agree with you completely. Blue Moon Target. If you're not sacking this question for fun, who would you get in? I'm not. I'm personally not gonna answer that. I'd let the chat get into that. I hear that everybody love everyone. Exactly. Emmy, right? Polar bears who don't attack me are welcome. As for the other things, they are welcome here just as long as they know their place. I'll tell. Excellent. The banter has begun. So mainly, what I really want is those of you who are hammering out, get into the chat now and tell me about the youth. Now, Mainoo is the topic of conversation. Mainoo again. Newcastle, apparently there are reports that Mainoo wants to go to Newcastle. Newcastle are going to make a bid. Now, number one, I don't think we'd get the money for him. Number two, this is a red flag for me. Now, I don't think Amorim and Mark Harris will be happy with this one. I don't understand why we don't integrate the youth more. Now, I do understand why we don't, but with the likes of Mainoo, now I fully take on board that Mainoo has played in a Euros. He was fantastic. Now with young players, they're very much up and down. But if Amorim and this board seriously allow Mainoo to go, I think Mainoo is the future. If Mainoo wants to go, I get it. But Mainoo to Newcastle for me would be a massive red flag. Now I did say that about Garnacho. Garnacho proved that he was a little scumbag, but I don't think Mainoo's the same as that. So I am of the opinion that I think it would be a mistake. Imagine strengthening our rival. I think Mainoo is the future. As I've said, Mainoo is young. Mainoo still is going to grow. I think he's going to grow into a player, and I think in 2 years with the right squad. Now this is what I mean about Amorim as well. Now what I will concede as well, and what I'll always say, is there are some red flags. When Bruno, a couple of months ago, and the videos are there, is that I was Amorim is going to die on this hill if Bruno doesn't work out in his position. And that is what's happening. If Amorim doesn't play Bruno as number 10, if Amorim is stubborn, continues with Fernandes in that number 8 position and not a 10, it is over for him. If he wants to win back fans, because this is what he needs to do now, is he needs to play Mainoo. And this is what I mean about him not playing the youth. If we lose Mainoo because he's not playing, what does that ultimately say? For people who are Amorim in, then I will find it very, very difficult. I'm still going to support him, but I will find it very, very, very difficult then to justify some of the decisions that he makes. If he doesn't change the squad around a bit, I would take on board that we do need to probably start putting players in the correct position. Does he go to a back four? He's not going to. Irrespective of how I feel, I don't think he's going to change his system. And he's going to live and die on that. What have we got in here? Let's throw millions at Klopp. I'm deadly serious. Let's make him the worst expensive manager in history. It isn't interesting that the youth team play 4-4-3 to the 3-4-2 system. So ends there. That's a very, very, very good point. One of the reasonings for that I've read is because they want versatile players who can play different systems, and the youth team do not want to implement Amorim's system. And I think you're right. I think it's very interesting that they've not implemented that system to the youth, and why they stuck with a 4-3-3. You can make your own conclusions from that, but I do think you're right. I think it's a very, very good point to make. Blooming Tiger says, people saying sack him, but who would you get in? Southgate in. Abuka says, at this point I'm losing faith in Amorim. Not all the players will thrive in 3-4-3, and his stubbornness is going to make them hate him or forsake him. I mean, look at Xavi. Look at Xavi. He did 3-4-3 with Bayern and switched it. Niche fan, catch up with you later. Danny B. Super Butt says, I would take Nuno, get us results, and maybe get us back in the top 6. United players can't play football, so Nuno would be a perfect manager. I disagree. I'll respect the opinion, as I'll always say. Respect the opinion, my friend. No one's getting top 6 with this team. I'm adamant on that. We'll finish. The only way, okay, I'm gonna shock you now, right? I'm gonna shock you a bit, right? The only way that we get anywhere near a top 8 is that, and I don't agree with this, is that we need a manager in. Okay, we switch Amorim out, and we get a manager who will pander to these players. So what that means, the only way for me right now, and when I say this, I mean we'll get top 6, but we're never going to win a league. We're never going to progress as a club. We'll continue the cycle if we do what I'm about to say. We change Amorim. We go get a manager who wants to play a 4-3-3 or a back 4, okay? And he panders to the players, and he plays these players where they want to play. He plays Luke Shaw as a left back, even though he can't do it. Plays all these players in their positions that they want to play. I guarantee you we'll be here in a year. These players will stay. Ineos will expect the manager to continue with these players. There's talk of Casemiro getting a year's extension. There's talk of Maguire getting a year's extension. If you want generic football, that it means that this club will not progress beyond maximum a 6th, go and get a manager that wants to play a back 4. Go and get a manager that wants to collude and wants to pander to these players. Then you'll get your wish, and we'll go up the league, and we'll bore out some results, and we'll probably get 8th. But I'm thinking long term, and I think if you give Amorim the time, give him his players, if Ineos are not going to give him his players, sack him. I don't see the point in wasting time. If Ineos know they're not going to back him, give him a team, give him his players that he needs, let him go now, because there is no point in this fictitious. Apparently we want to win the league by 2028. It's a load of nonsense. It's a load of spin. Unless you back this manager to the hilt, ignore the noise of us fans, and you back him, he will succeed. If you don't want to, and all you want to do is be a mid-level team, go and get a manager that wants to play a back four, a 4-3-3. You'll see improvements straight away. But as soon as these players then don't like the system again, and not being played in their position, you'll see this time and time again. Nuno will get sacked, whoever else it is. Klopp is the right guy, but let the man rest. He'll never be here. Football Tube last season should be forgotten completely. Is moving the goalposts. It happened under him. He's liable in his system. I disagree. I respect the opinion. I disagree. For me, last season should be forgotten. It wasn't his team, And what I mean by that is, right, we play a 4-3-3. We've always played that system. 4-4-2, a 4-3-3. Right? You brought in a specialist manager to play a system. How can you give him the same players who've never played this system and expect him in a couple of months to change these players over, when we all know how toxic these players are? Not them all, but there's a contingent that is toxic. Garnacho was still here. A bunch of these players were still here on loan, but the toxicity was still there. How can you blame him for that? I respect the opinion, and I respect that people watch football in a different way. It's not moving the goalposts. It is how can somebody do a job with the wrong tools, with the wrong type of players? These are not his players. And my argument to that is, ultimately, don't hire him. They should never have hired him in the first place, but they did. So give him the tools to do the job. Mainoo won't leave, with Jim coming out saying, let him leave on loan for me. That's Jim saying he backs Mainoo over Amorim. I don't know, mate. Mainoo wants to leave. If Mainoo wants to leave, Mainoo will I think will push and move through. This club ultimately, again, I'm not doing this player FC stuff. If Mainoo wants to leave, fuck off. No, I like him. I think Mainoo's going to be the future of this club. I think he's going to be a great player. But if you don't want to be here, the door's there, mate. We have had so many better players leave. Now Beckham left. Beckham devastated me when he left. When Solskjaer got injured and he left. Andy Cole left. Rude left. So many of these players retired or left. Cristiano left. These players don't even compare to those players. I maybe I'm stuck in the past, but we've survived, and we will survive. We will, whether it ultimately, whether it is in the Premier League. Maybe I'm never going to see another title win. Maybe we will go down at some point. I don't think that we will, but it's sad. But if the longer that Sir Jim is here, the longer that the Glazers are here, we're never gonna progress as a club. Xabi switched it when Madrid came in. He knows not all players will thrive in that formation. We need to drop Bruno and play Kobbie. Man United are ass, yeah. When Bruno doesn't play, United wins. Bruno is too much, I agree. Would you rather never touch it? Emmy, I'm never answering that question, mate. Never. Never, never, never. I'm never, never going to answer that. Spinning the wheel, I'm not going to do that either. Toxic. MUFC says Amorim won't stay to January, so Mainoo is staying. Maybe, maybe. I mean, the fallings out of Amorim, and again, I think this is another red flag to me. Well, I can't. I'm not just Amorim in, and I'm going to ignore everything that's happening. Amorim is falling out with everybody, and if Amorim is not backed by Ineos, Sir Jim came out and said that he thinks this squad can win the Champions League. I think it is ludicrous. Amorim has offered to walk twice. In fact, he's offered to walk 3 times after the Grimsby game. He said sometimes he's emotional, sometimes he wants to quit. I can't work this manager out. I can't work him out at times. I've never known a manager to come out and say that sometimes he wants to walk, sometimes he hates it. And I think the messaging is so confusing. Sometimes I wonder if he wants to leave himself, and that's what he's trying to do. What do I believe? Do I believe he'll go? Yes, I do. I do. I'm still of the opinion that he'll go. Whether he walks or whether he gets sacked, I think you're going to get your wish. I do. But I will always say this. Be careful what you wish for. Pure Amazer says, I think United need a whole rebuild like Chelsea, just cashing on half the squad and buying prospects to fill in the gaps. Let them grow. I don't disagree with that. It's the tactics. Name me top 5 leagues in the world. Let me know if Portugal is up there. Top 5 leagues in the world. Now, when I say this, the top 5 leagues for me, I base it on quality throughout the league, right? So, in my opinion, the Premier League is number 1. I'd probably say it's a toss up, and you can put either one of these two, either second or third. I would probably say La Liga at the moment is number 2. I'd probably say Serie A is number 3. Then I'd probably go Bundesliga, and then I'd probably go Portuguese, maybe. I don't know. I actually wouldn't discount. The Championship, but for sort of fairness, I'd probably go Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, the Bundesliga, and then like the Bundesliga, you could put those as number 2. So I think La Liga, Serie A, the Bundesliga, pretty much the same thing, and then take a pick. Portuguese, I think then probably 5th. If I was Amorim, in, but his stubbornness has changed my. And again, this is the problem. This is the problem, isn't it? His stubbornness and unwillingness to change is going to be his downfall. Now, you can change without pandering to these players. I would disrespect him, or I would be less respectful if he went back on the principles. But you can mitigate it by playing it your way, but changing a few things, like play Bruno in his position, drop Luke Shaw, play Mainoo, play Heaven. Do something different with this squad. If you're stubborn to play your tactics, at least put the players in the right positions. I forgot about the French league actually. I'd play the kids. Scott, do you know what? At this point, if it's true about Fernandes, I'd drop Fernandes. I would. If Fernandes is basically calling me out and is part of this group of players that are trying to get me sacked, F him off. I would take away the captaincy. Now, people may not like that, but if you're the manager, you need to get out the player power. And what better way to do that than say to Fernandes, you ain't playing again. And if that was to happen, I think that Amorim would go, because I think the board would back him. Xavi is a good shout out. I was shocked when we went for Amorim over him. I don't. Xavi, what could he do? I don't. Xavi's going to want any manager that comes in who is Zidane, who will never come, Xavi, whoever else, are going to want their own players. And they're not going to get them. Everton, yeah. Football Tube, you can tell how long someone's been watching football when they use Bruno to reference a good player. You can tell how long someone's been watching football when they use Bruno as a reference for a good player. And I kind of agree with that. When United fans are telling me or saying that Bruno Fernandes is a legend of this club, and he's been here through the success, which somebody did say that. I don't call an FA Cup and a League Cup success. I don't go, And the one thing about Fernandes, you could say he was a good player, right? Because he is a decent-ish player, but he's specialist. Is he a legend of this club? No. The stats would back up, and people can use stats that. I think one of the stats is he's better than Paul Scholes in a couple of things, but Bruno Fernandes is a divisive player. I think he's petulant. I think he goes hiding. He's not a captain of this club, and I think his time has come. Bruno is awful. There's a reason Sporting would try to offload him. I accept the reality of my club. I am Everton. Well done. JB has never should have sold Bruno. To be fair, he is world class, but it would have been better. Toxic, my friend. I disagree. If you think Bruno is world class, and I'm not going to disrespect your opinion, if you think Bruno is world class, that's up to you. Then I feel sorry for you, because you've never seen what world class players are. You've never seen what a world class midfielder is. Bruno has never been world class. He is not world class. He is at best. He is a better than average player. He's not world class for me. He's never been world class for me. The only reason why Amorim doesn't want to switch is because he's stubborn, doesn't want to be proven wrong. Do you know what, Pure? I think that's a good point. As I'll always say, Amorim in 10 years' time, if you come back and look at his system, it should be a different system. If it's not, then he's going to be one of these coaches who will end up like Erik ten Hag, who's going to go back to, I can't remember which Dutch club it is. He's going to end up going back to Portugal, and he's going to end up, I think, I genuinely starting to think this, they'll end up at Benfica. JB will be live one day and he'll get swatted for the stuff we say. As long as I don't read it out, then I should be okay. Thanks, Benja. I love Amorim as much as I love Steppin. But Benja, it's JB because I'm not going to say my real name. I love Amorim as much as I love Steppin on the upside of a plug. JB, I love you, but Sir Jim has already said that he's going to go if you aren't in the Champions League. Nishfan, I agree with you. I am not going to disagree with you, Nishfan. I'm not going to disagree. I think that is a valid statement, and I agree with that statement. How do you have a manager like that as Man United? The board decided it. We didn't decide it. Would I have picked? Okay, here's a question for me, and I'm not going to shy away from it. Would I have picked Amorim as our coach? No, I wouldn't have, because his system is too different to what we play. For the reasons that I've said, he needed a brand new team. Would I have picked him for this team? No, I wouldn't have. Buckeye for Life says soccer sucks. Buckeye for Life, mate. Yeah, a lot of fresh United fans in here. It sounds like I'll be watching F1 golf and 10 this season. I'm so done. JB said it yesterday. How long did it take Arsenal to still come up short? You look at Arsenal fans. It was Arteta out, get Arteta out, and you had all AFTV, and you had all those guys standing outside the Emirates shouting for Arteta out, Arteta out. It was Arteta out for years. No, I would bite their hand off to be where they are right now. I think that they're in a really, really good position, and I would bite their hands off right now to be where they are. I like watching curling, to be honest, on blind football. Amrin is not experienced. I agree with you. It's not like saying you can't an omelette without breaking eggs. Amrin is just launching the eggs at the wall at this point. I feel Ineos only brought Amrin in best. Say hello to the championship. Hello to the championship. 2004, I was still in high school. Scott, not that long, bro. You've got to have higher expectations. Small club, 3rd tier in 5 years. Messi, you are talking out of your back end. Same mate was in 2nd year in high school in 2004. I left school in oh my god, I left school in 1999. United are effed until the Glazers. I agree with you, Johnny. I agree with you. We'll see you there, Messi. After Grealish down to 4th bottle of whiskey. Excellent. Emmy, also good point. People say football has changed. That's true, but also the backroom has changed in football. Could you imagine any player going up against Fergie? Exactly. Football has changed, but the Premier League is still more classic than and raw than other leagues, in my opinion. Benji, what's the EFL? I do sometimes. Bro, don't compare us to you. You are a small club with glory hunters. Let's say I think you're a Wally. No, I absolutely don't mind people's opinions, and I will respect as many opinions as I can. But to say we're a small club is factually not true, is it? It's factually not true. We have 1 billion fans around the world. Their revenues are some of the highest, even though we're crap. Talking out of your back end, which is your third leg's favourite trainer? The third leg's favourite trainer's probably got to be the Nike Alpha Fly. It's comfortable. It's got pods in it. Check them out. Check out Nike Alpha Flies. They are legendary. Ever Speak exclusive channel. He's a legend. Small club. What's the last thing you won, David Moyes? Amrin is a loser, but he will not resign. Amrin is like my. Oh, Emmy. Oh God. We aren't speaking about the elephant in the room, Ineos and the Glazers. I agree with you. I don't think it gets spoken about enough. If you watch the videos that I've done over the last couple of days, number one enemy before the players, before the manager, are Glazers and Ineos. They are the biggest problem in this club. They are the absolute epitome of leeches. Sir Jim, as I said yesterday, people will say Ineos and Sir Jim have invested X amount of money in this club, which is there for people to see. But all they're doing is they're making sure that their asset is up to scratch, making sure that their asset is maintained. And then when it comes to the rebuilding of the stadium, and then when they sell it, that 300 million or whatever it is that they've invested is going to be worth a couple of £billion. That is why they're here. And I believe I will be proved right on that one. Let him cook. I believe Amrin knows the game. Portugal is not top 6. According to Google and all, it's Prem, La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, Portugal. I feel guilty and just bad looking at David sometimes. But trophies doesn't matter. Yeah, you are a glory hunter. Messi, United fans, right? I've not heard that term used in about 15 years. Glory Hunters, hilarious. So Babatunde, what do you think about the setup? 3-4-2-1 formation: Lemens, Yoro, Delict, Mejbri, Amad, Mainoo, Casemiro, Shaw, and Bruno, and Shesko. Luke Shaw for me has to come out. Can't stand him. I think he's a fucking waste of time. I think he's slow. I think he's cost us 2 goals against City. Luke Shaw is done. I want him gone. As long as Bruno's played in the right position, then I think, and Mainoo gets put into this team, then I think that all we've got a shout. Formation-wise, I'm not even going to talk about that because I just think that I'm going to stand by my guns and say that it's not the formation, it is the players. But Amorim is not going to change his system, so I'll talk about formation changes if and when he goes. But trophies make you a big club. Helen, Everton was once up there. Yeah, Glory Hunter mentality. Fulham was once up there. Glory, bro, my clubs. Exactly. I don't know what Messay's talking about. Ismail, all other managers got the same stigma. I believe United has what it takes. Amorim needed a midfielder. He showed against City. We need to stick with one coach. We need to weather the storm. Ismail, Fortune, I agree with you completely. I really, really do agree. I really, really do agree. Babatunde, he refused to start Mainoo against City. A midfielder, Casemiro at Mainoo would have shown more. I do agree with you. I do agree. I do agree. I do agree. Jemba, so good their name. Oh my god, I remember when he came into this club. It was absolute embarrassing. What's your amazing of world class? How good is world class in your opinion? So, I'll give you my opinion on that one. Is world class is not just about ability. Okay, world class to me is being the best in your position. Right? Is attitude. Is your willingness to win. Is your will to win. Irrespective of those around you, it is sometimes you can be petulant, sometimes you can be a passionate player, but ultimately you strive for the best. You strive for excellence in everything that you do in terms of your attitude on the pitch, attitude towards the fans, how you conduct yourself, how you train, how you play. It's not just about winning things. You can be a world-class player in a poor side, but you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent every game. You can't be the world-class in every single game. But it's not just Messi. You know, Messi's a gift, right? If Messi didn't work as hard as he did, would he be world-class? No. But it's only because Messi, his drive, his work ethic, people, Messi, the way that he's in constant pursuit of, he wants to win. His head will never drop. This is why world-class players are very, very few and far between. And that for me is the definition of a world-class player. World-class, Akinfenwa, world-class for me is top 3 or 4 in the position. Last world-class player we had was Rooney. I play Heaven at centre-back over Shaw. Shaw was a disgrace. Super battles, I agree. Why didn't we buy Xhaka? Because he's crap. The problem now is that you see, regardless of whether we stick with him or not, he's lost. The dressing room, be prepared for the loss. JB stands for John Barnes. He was named after his favourite player, has a tattoo of Barnes in his face. Full piece. Exactly. Heaven and Mainoo in, Shaw and Bruno out. That's a yellow card, red game. Once you lose the players, it's... Chief, I agree with you, mate. I agree. With that, Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, Ranić, Oli, Ten Hag, now Amorim. Let's get the robot in Sean Dyche. Does anyone come in here Does anyone come in inexperienced to coach you? Arteta did not finish lower than 10th. Okay. Super battles. I'm gonna read this one. Ineos not to blame. They have done everything good besides the appointment of Amorim, which is turning out to be their only mistake. Super Blitz, my friend. If I was carding people on here, I would red card you for that one. So, Ineos are the enemy of this club. Ineos, instead of minding their own business, kept the Glazers in charge. The Glazers were out of money. The Glazers were looking ultimately for investment, and if they didn't get that investment, they would have sold the club. Ineos are propping up enemies of this club who have wasted our money, who have taken money out the club to service their debt. They bought this club on debt. They've never paid a penny of it back. They've taken billions out of this club. They've let our home get so badly maintained that it now leaks, and it would cost so much money that it's cheaper to actually build a new stadium. Ineos decided that that was a good idea. Ineos came in, and because the club is in such a mess, they sacked half of the workforce. They've had an abysmal window. They got a director of football in Ashworth and sacked him after 3 months. They've sacked Ten Hag. They invested 300 million in Ten Hag and then sacked him. Probably going to do the same to Amorim, and we finished 15th under their watch. Ineos are absolute cretins. They are incompetent, and they can continue to show that to this day. Chelsea will be wrapped up Champions League. Scott's clear. United can't afford to crash Bruno's worth, considering he's the most. I don't disagree. You guys talking about soccer. Thought in that Amorim asking to remove all blue items from the training ground. Derby hotly hit him hard. Glory Hunter is a person who supports the club or switches supporting clubs just for glory. It's true. Mohamed Asabebe would fit right into this squad. Mainoo and Heaven in, Shaw and Bruno out. Iron will get a sack. Noe, from what you've seen so far, do you think Benjamin Sesko is a flop? No, you can't call Sesko a flop after 4 games. I mean, Jesus. I mean, what have we come to? It's going to take him 2 years. It's going to take him a year. He's 22 years old. It's going to take him a year or two. I mean, we can't call players a flop. We really can't. Bring back Jesse Lingard. Listen, I love the United admin, but whoever they are, keep posting these over confident classic highlights, like our last 10 goals with Chelsea. Yesterday they did the same thing before the derby. Ineos or Qatar. So Babatunde, for me, it's not Ineos or Qatar. It's whoever wants to come into this club. Get the Glazers out. Clear this debt, and who has the best interest at heart. Do I think that's Qatar? Probably not. Do I think it's Ineos? If Sir Jim pays off the Glazers, gets the Glazers out, clears this debt, absolutely do not. I will change my mind. But until that happens, the United YouTube channel just posted highlights. I know. Not Sheikh Shazim seems like an actual fan with passion. I always wanted Watkins along with Sesko. Hello, do we change the man? Which ones? Well, it's your question. I don't know. That's for another show. So, guys, I'm going to go. I've got to get back to work, sadly. Working and trying to make the channel big is one of the things that is a challenge. But guys, thank you for being here. You guys, whether we agree, disagree, you make me laugh. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. You guys make the channel what it is. I like to think that we are very, very much. Yeah, I'm going to try to be live tonight, Scott. Well, I will be live tonight at some point. I want to do a watch along for one of the Champions League games tonight. But I will be live definitely tonight. I will be live tonight. But guys, yeah, thank you for being here. I will say it means a lot. You guys make this channel. Without you guys, the channel doesn't exist. So I'll try and get on the games tonight. So yeah, have a good rest of your afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. Take care, and I'll see you tonight. I'll see you on the next one. Take care and see you later.